welcome to Tiger TV's live coverage of the 2019 LSU National Championship Parade. I'm Courtney Brewer.
Being back in Death Valley just felt right, especially for our Tigers. We got to watch freshmen on both sides of the ball make their debut under the lights, but one in particular stood out.
Next week it's to Auburn for the Tigers, and after a bye week they'll be right back here to take on Alabama.
Chev, it was another strong weekend to be NFLSU, and some of the best matchups are still to come after we're done here.
LSU will travel to Denton, Texas next week to take on Texas Fluents before returning home for senior night against Arizona State.
When you first took over the program, LSU was in the 50s or so in rankings. You guys are now number 2 in the country. How do you rebuild a program like that in such a short amount of time?
Two Apex Predators battled it out for the top of the SEC tonight, but despite some standout performances, the Tigers fell short at the three-point line. Now, I know senior night is emotional for you. Your daughter is a senior on the team. So how do you separate being a mom and being a coach in that regard?
Back to Newsbeat. It's time for a Tiger Sports update as we head into the weekend. Last weekend, the Tigers traveled to Columbia, Missouri to play, but given the circumstances, technically played a home game. Missouri's Marching Mizzou band wanted it to feel as much like a home game as possible, and I spoke with Dr. Amy Nopes to see how they pulled it off. Last week's LSU versus Missouri game was unconventional in more ways than one. The Southeastern Conference moved to relocate the game to Columbia the Tuesday before out of an abundance of precaution for Hurricane Delta. And with the hurricane sweeping through Baton Rouge Friday night, leaving fallen branches and wind damage, it was the right decision.
For plenty of the seniors and especially the freshmen, they probably really wish they could have done that.
The conference dubbed this as a home game for LSU regardless of the location for scheduling purposes. While some Mizzou fans may relish the opportunity for home field advantage, band director Dr. Amy Nopes thought otherwise.
I said, would, at your convenience, I forget how I exactly worded it, so certainly don't quote me. I was like, at your convenience, would you mind to please forward me your alma mater and your fight song? We would, Marching Mizzou would like to perform that in honor of your seniors and the Tiger Band on Saturday.
The Golden Band's rituals are famous across the SEC and beyond. With COVID-19 changing which students get to play at what games, Dr. Nopes and the Marching Mizzou wanted to show LSU seniors that they cared.
It was kind of heartwarming to see a band knowing in the situation that we were put in and they were put in a pretty, quick circumstance, I guess. It was very nice to see that they, helped our, football team feel like we were still there.
In the end, the Tigers from Missouri reigned supreme, beating LSU 45-41. But the love shown by the band in Columbia shows that it goes beyond the field in the SEC.
Tonight the freshmen shone bright under the lights of Death Valley for the first time. With Miles Brennan sidelined, true freshman TJ Finley stepped into the QB1 position and showed Tiger fans that he earned it.
I would say I didn't have many pregame jitters, but if I did, it was very quick.
It was unclear who would fill in for Miles until late Thursday when Coach O announced that the freshman from Ponchatoula would start against the Gamecocks. In his Tiger Stadium debut, Finley had 2 touchdowns and threw for 265 yards, with the entire student section chanting his name by the fourth quarter.
TJ showed us a lot of confidence throughout camp. He's lost some weight. I thought he did a tremendous job of leading the team today, and you see how he has a tremendous arm. He can scramble, made some plays on the run, and made some good decisions.
Finley threw to 6 different receivers over the course of the game, notably Jeray Jenkins and Terrace Marshall Jr. Marshall had a total of 2 touchdowns on the night for 9 total this season. LSU ended up with a bounce-back win with a score of 52-24.
We really needed this win, and for South Carolina to beat Auburn and us to beat South Carolina, it's a huge confidence boost for us going into Auburn week.
The loss 2 weeks ago at Missouri was a damper for players and fans alike, but with the record now 2-2, the Tigers can focus on making a postseason run. One word to describe senior gymnast Olivia Gunter is passion. Her love for the sport, her love for the team, it's infectious. When gymnastics abruptly ended in March due to the coronavirus, Olivia found herself back home in Mandeville. And for an athlete who's used to practicing hours upon hours every week, that's a major change.
Especially in gymnastics, your body changes fast. You go a month, 2 months without doing gymnastics, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I do not by any means look the same as I did when we were on our way to nationals training every single day.
She had the idea to take her workouts to a larger audience just for fun. When she saw her nearly 12,000 Instagram followers take an interest, Unathletic Athlete was born.
And it got to a point where I started making my own up, and I would like text in my team's group me and be like, does anyone want to join? And like at that point I was like, okay, I'm getting annoying, because I would message them actually every day asking if someone wanted to work out with me on Zoom. So finally I just decided to take it to Instagram.
On her separate account, Olivia holds live workouts in different formats, encouraging not just working out, but being active.
How are y'all doing?
In between the live streams, she shares messages of body positivity and self-love.
I didn't probably start talking about body image and self-love until probably like halfway through quarantine, because I was definitely going through it. Like, it was hard. I just honestly one day decided to kind of go public about the things that I was feeling, and I got so many responses and so many other primarily females who were like, I'm going through the same exact thing. And it just like made me realize like, wow, like this is a way bigger thing than people talk about. So I was like, I'm going to keep going with this. I'm going to keep talking about like the things that I go through, in hopes that it helps other girls and helps them to understand like they're not alone.
What started as a fun way to get through quarantine has become a passion for Olivia. After her graduation in May, she has her eyes set on potentially opening a gym.
Long-term goal, I would love to open up my own studio and like it be open to everyone, and it just be like a space where everyone feels like they're welcome. So
Until she returns to the famous purple mat, Olivia will continue to use her platform for good, spreading healthy body image and having fun with your friends week after week.